Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Muhammad Wasim Khan, instructor for a course Human Resource Management. As you know, this is the third part of the lecture, and the lecture is about the HR planning and recruitment. We would like to start this part of the lecture from a topic internal sources of candidates, that is, hiring from within the organization. It has some pros and cons or advantages and disadvantages. First advantage is the foreknowledge, before knowledge of the candidate's strengths and weaknesses. Usually the managers and the recruiters know the candidate's strength and weaknesses because the candidates have already spent time in that particular organization or a company. More accurate view of the candidate's skills. Candidates have usually a stronger commitment to the company. It increases the employee morale, and usually less training and orientation is required for those particular candidates because those candidates already know the environment and the training that are required for that particular company. There are some disadvantages as well. That is, the first of the disadvantages can be the failed applicants become dissatisfied, or it may waste the time by interviewing inside candidates who will not be considered or qualified, and it may lead to inbreeding of the status quo. So this is a clear picture of the benefits of internal candidates. That is, they need less orientation and training. The company knows the candidate's strengths and weaknesses. Usually, the internal candidates are more committed to the company. The company has a more accurate view of personal skills, and it may lead to increase or to rise or in the rise of employees' morale. How to find internal candidates? There are different methods that can be used for finding the internal candidates. Okay, the first step is the job posting. Usually, a job position, an open job position, is publicized to the employees by simply posting it on the bullet boards within the particular organization. And examination of HR records for the potential candidates has been done. Rehiring the former employees. There are some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages of rehiring or hiring the former employees again. Advantages are they are known qualities. Most of the company members of the top manager know those particular employees. And the employees know the firm and its culture and its discipline and environment. But the disadvantages are that they may have less than positive attitudes, or the rehiring of those former employees may send the wrong message to the current employees or the employees who are currently working within that particular organization. As we have already discussed the succession planning, we will discuss it here in a little detail. Succession planning is the process of ensuring a suitable supply of successor for current and future senior or key jobs. Hiring from within is particularly important when it involves filling the employer's top positions. Doing so requires succession planning, the ongoing process of systematically identifying, assessing, and developing organizational leadership to enhance performance. About 36% of the employers have formal succession planning programs. There are certain simple succession planning steps. The first one is to identify and analyze the key job. The second one is creating and assessing those particular candidates. And the third one is selecting those who will fill the key positions or who needs to be considered for those particular positions. So these are the steps we have to. I would like to discuss it here briefly. So the first step is identify and analyze the key jobs. Based on the company's strategic goals or objectives, top management and the HR manager identify what the company's future key positions will be. So they have to identify the key position first. They then write job descriptions and specification for those particular jobs to be advertised. And for instance, if the company plans to expand abroad, it may look for talent in its international division. The second step is assess candidates. After identifying future key positions, the management team assesses candidates for these jobs. It then provides them with the developmental experience they need in these positions. And the third and the last step is to select those who will fill those particular positions. Top management selects those who will fill the key positions. What are the sources or the external sources of candidates? The first one is through advertise. We have to advertise, and or through employment agencies. And you know that right now throughout the world there are a lot of employment agencies. They are providing different types of services. Let's talk about advertising. We advertise usually through media, and media is used for the selection of the best medium is needed, and it depends on the position for which the firm is recruiting. And some of those mediums can be, or media can be newspapers, that is the local and specific labor markets. So newspaper is used for local and specific labor markets, trade and professional journals, internet job sites that are right now using a lot by many different organizations, and marketing programs. Constructing an effective advertisement is very necessary for any organization to attract different candidates from a district or from a province or state or from a country or from through different countries. Wording related to job interest factors should inducing the applicant's attention, his or her interest, desire, and action, and create a positive impression of the company. So let's talk about the types of employment agencies. Mainly, we have two types of employment agencies. One can be a government and a non-profit agency, and the second can be commercial agencies. There are different reasons for using a particular agency. One of the reasons is when a firm does not have an HR department, or the HR department of a firm is not fully equipped or is not working properly. So the company or that organization hire an agency. Another reason is when the firm has found it difficult in the past to generate a pool of qualified applicants, they use a particular agency. The firm must fill a particular opening quickly. So it is usually difficult for a company or the firm to do the whole process very quickly. That's why they have to use a particular agency, and there is a perceived need of attract to need to attract a greater number of minority or female applicants. So these are some of the reasons why a company or a firm is using an agency. Another reason is the firm wants to reach the individuals who might feel more comfortable dealing with agencies rather than with competing agencies, or the firm wants to cut down on the time it is devoting for or to the recruitment. So these were some of the reasons why different organizations or the firms are using different agencies. There are some of the problems that need to be avoided with employment agencies. Give the agency an accurate and complete job description. Make sure that the tests, application blanks, and interviews are part of the agency's selection process. Periodically review data on candidates accepted or rejected by your firm and by the agency, and check on the effectiveness and fairness of the agency's screening process. Screen the agency. Check with other managers or HR people to find out which agency have been the most effective at filling the sorts of positions needed to be filled. And review the internet and a few back issues of the Sunday classified ads to discover the agencies that handle the positions to be filled. And in Pakistan, we have a different employment or taste agencies like NTAs or PTS or ETA, or some other agencies are usually used for employment purposes. Temp agencies and alternative staffing. What is temp agencies or temping agencies? Temp agencies are actually the recruitment agencies that specialize in finding positions for candidates looking for temporary work and in filling vacancies of the companies seeking to employ candidates on a temporary basis. So there are some of the benefits of the temps as well, like they are paid only when working. They are usually more productive. No recruitment screening and payroll administration costs are needed here. And the cost of attempts are, you have to pay fees to the temp agency, and the firm, they have usually a lack of commitment to the particular firm. Let's talk about the headhunters or the executive recruiters. They are special employment agencies that are retained by employers to seek out top management talent for their clients. Contingent-based recruiters, like the or conditional fee recruiters, collect a fee for their services, obviously when a successful hire is completed. And retained executive searchers are paid regardless of the outcome of the recruitment process. Internet technology and specialization trends are changing how candidates are attracted and how searches are conducted. And this is a normal and a very common way of advertising and recruitment. Advantages of using executive recruiters: able to contact qualified currently employed candidates who are not actively looking to change the jobs. Another advantage is that they can keep your company's name confidential until late into the search process. They save the top management's time by advertising for the position and screening applicants, and the recruiter's fee may turn out to be insignificant compared with cost of executive time saved. There are some of the disadvantages of using executive recruiters as well. The first one is that employer has to provide comprehensive explanation of what sort of candidates is required and why. So that may waste or utilize or waste some time of a firm as well, or the time of the employer as well. Some recruiters are salespeople and may be more interested in convincing to the employer to hire a candidate rather than finding one who will really do the job. So that is the second disadvantage, is the one of the most alarming disadvantages of the executive recruiters. There are some of the guidelines that can be used for choosing a recruiter. Make sure that the firm is capable of conducting a thorough search. Meet the individual who will actually handle your assignment, and ask how much the search firm charges. Let's talk about one of the common way of recruiting nowadays, and that is the campus recruitment. Recruiting goals are to determine if the candidate is worthy of further consideration and to attract the good candidates. And it consists of the on-site visits and the internships as well. Let's talk about the on-site visits. Invitation letters should be warm and friendly but businesslike, and assign a specific person to meet the applicant and play host. Prepare an information package including the applicant's schedule as well as other information regarding the company. And you have to carefully plan the interviews and keep to schedule. Make a timely employment offer, if any, as soon as possible, and frequently follow-ups may help to attract the applicant. But there are some problems with the campus recruitment as well. It is expensive and time consuming. How? It is expensive and time consuming because schedules must be set in advance. The company brochures need to be printed. Records of interviews need to be kept, and much time is usually spent on campus. And that is actually the wastage of time for a particular company. Recruiters themselves may be ineffective. How? Because some recruiters are usually unprepared. They need to be trained, and they do not effectively screen the candidates. If they are not trained properly, obviously they may not be able to effectively screen the candidates. This is another way of referring or preferring an employee or a candidate for a particular position, and that is called employee referral. Applicants who are referred to the organization by the current employees are employee referral. And referring employees usually become stakeholders, and this is a cost-effective recruitment program, because usually the current employees who are referring a particular candidate or employee knows the skills, the qualification, and the abilities of that particular candidate. Referral can speed up diversifying the workforce. Let's talk about another source for hiring a candidate, and that is walk-in. Actually, direct applicants who seek employment with or without encouragement from other sources. So it is actually a process that needs very little time. A cautious treatment of any applicant is a good business practice. One of the most common methods of recruiting is the use of internet. While using internet, we can see different advertisements on that are posted in social media like Facebook, like LinkedIn, etc. And some of the people actually post those particular job advertisements as well. More firms and applicants are using the internet in their job searches. There are different and a lot of advantages of internet recruiting. Some of them are mentioned here. It is a cost-effective way to publicize the job openings. More applicants are attracted over a longer period. As I have mentioned here that it is a cost-effective way to publicize job openings, that means that a company do not need to publish the brochure or the banners or something else for that, and they do not need to give advertisement to the newspapers and journals, etc. Immediate applicant responses. Yes, usually everyone is nowadays using the social media or the internet. So they can give those applicants or the candidates or the eligible applicants and candidates give an immediate response. Nowadays, the online pre-screening of applicants is available. Most of the company are using different tests or GAMs for the pre-screening of the applicants. Links to other job search sites as well, yes, and automation of the applicant tracking and evaluation is embedded in this internet recruitment process. These are the two examples or samples, and here we can see the effective and ineffective web aids. The first one, that is for a Unix Solaris admin, Windows 2000 administrator, that is the first aid, and which is not an effective, because it is not properly that particular aid do not show the different important parts of the advertisement, like the job description and specification and the requirements. While the next one is effective web aid, that is much more attractive for the applicant as compared to the first one. Work for the job, work for the world's best boss, and that is you. So that is a very attractive title of the web aid. And you can see that they have clearly offered the excellent commissions, proven repeat business, outstanding training, no travel nights or weekend, etc. So they have mentioned everything much clear, and that makes this aid more attractive for the applicants or candidates. In the next part of the lecture, we will start from developing and using the application forms. Till then, thank you and bye-bye.